Melvin Manhoef stands as one of combat sport's most devastating strikers, a fighter whose record speaks to both his lethal precision and his willingness to face the sport's most formidable opponents. Throughout his career, he faced elite competition across multiple continents and organizations, each fight a test of his technical mastery and mental fortitude. If you appreciate detailed breakdowns of legendary fighters and their most significant battles, subscribe and follow the channel for more content like this. What follows is an examination of 13 defining moments in Manhoef's career, beginning with an encounter against Ramazan Ramazanov that would prove far more consequential than many anticipated. In a K1 contest against Ramazan Ramazanov, Manhoef arrived with one of the more distinctive ring entrances of his career. He entered the arena with a leash around his neck, a deliberate symbolic gesture suggesting restraint and imminent release. The entrance produced a visible reaction from the crowd and reflected the psychological dimension that Manhoef consistently brought to his public appearances. Ramazanov entered the contest with evident preparation. He was not there to participate passively, and his approach communicated serious competitive intent. The opening of the fight was measured. Both men traded low kicks and assessed range at a slower pace than Manhoef typically established early in bouts. The tempo shifted by the midpoint of round one as Manhoef settled into his rhythm. The first knockdown came without extended setup, a clean strike that sent Ramazanov to the canvas.
From Melvin, and the referee's going to put a count here on Ramazan.
From that point, Manhoef operated with controlled aggression and forward pressure. A second knockdown followed shortly after. The referee stopped the contest.
And Melvin is an explosive, and there is another knockdown.
The big kickboxing.
Interesting fact, Ramazan Ramazanov was an accomplished Russian combat sports competitor who had built a solid record before entering K1 competition. This bout illustrates a consistent pattern in Manhoef's finishing record.
He hooks, caught him with the left hand. Down went Ramazanov, referee said no more.
In an MMA bout against Paulo Filho, both fighters engaged immediately from the opening bell without any extended feeling-out period. Manhoef landed early kicks that registered on Filho, but Filho responded with a clean 1-2 combination, which is 1-2 combination is a clear signal that he had entered the fight to compete actively. The early exchange established the tone, sustained pace, significant power from both sides, and no apparent intention from either man to control the tempo or conserve energy. The fight changed on a single sequence. Manhoef connected with a combination involving a punch, followed by a head kick, which visibly damaged Filho and compromised his ability to defend. Manhoef advanced with follow-up strikes, and the referee intervened to stop the contest.
On his feet, he's still on his feet, and none of those shots are landing cleanly. Well, can he fight back? He's covering up well, but I think this should be over in just a minute. No shot gone in. No, the referee just had to jump in.
In a bout against Kazuo Misaki, a fighter with legitimate credentials, including titles in Shudo and Dream, Manhoef faced an opponent whose record represented a genuine level of high-level competition. The in-cage performance, however, did not reflect that background. From the opening bell, Misaki engaged in near-constant evasion. He threw no strikes, attempted no takedowns, and made no meaningful forward movement. His approach consisted entirely of lateral repositioning and distance maintenance, a pattern that continued until Manhoef cornered him and landed his first meaningful combination. Misaki went down. The referee stopped the contest before Manhoef had time to follow up with significant ground and pound. Misaki protested the stoppage immediately, rising to his feet and signaling that he was able to continue. The referee's decision stood.
Win for the Dream Team. It is now 3-1 in favor of Sengoku.
In K1 competition, Manhoef faced Ruslan Karaev, a legitimate elite-level kickboxer whose record included a knockout victory over Badr Hari, one of the more feared strikers in the sport at the time. Karaev was not a low-level opponent, and the matchup carried genuine competitive weight. Both fighters entered the ring composed and without visible antagonism. There was no manufactured confrontation during the pre-fight protocol. Two professionals preparing to compete. The contrast with the result was stark. Within the opening seconds of round 1, Manhoef landed a strike that ended the contest immediately.
Пытался Руслан сразу поразить цель, но Мелвин ниже ростом, да если еще немножко сложится, уклончик выполнит, то... Ай-яй-яй-яй-яй-яй! Что ты будешь делать? Ruslan.
Karaev was knocked unconscious, and medical staff entered the ring without delay. Once Karaev recovered, Manhoef approached to check on him. A detail worth noting given the abruptness of the finish. The conduct of both men following the stoppage stood in notable contrast to the severity of the knockout itself. Interesting fact, Ruslan Karaev was a former K1 World Grand Prix finalist. His knockout win over Badr Hari, considered one of the sport's most dangerous strikers at the time, remains one of the more significant results in K1 Grand Prix history. One of the more memorable bouts in Manhoef's career came against Evangelista Santos, known as Cyborg, a Brazilian fighter with extensive MMA experience who entered the contest with visible intent to make a statement. Cyborg walked to the cage wearing a shirt bearing a revolutionary slogan, a deliberate choice that framed the fight as more than a competitive outcome. Manhoef, by contrast, entered in his signature gladiator shorts, offering no slogans. His presence communicated his position without commentary. During the face-off, Cyborg was accompanied by a member of his team who remained close during the stare-down, a detail that illustrated the psychological preparation both camps had engaged in before the contest.
Great strikers. I just can't see this one going longer than the first round, if I'm perfectly honest. Both these guys are hungry bangers. Look at the stare-down, guys. Two of the most dangerous men in the light heavyweight division. Would you like to be in the middle of there?
Round 1 opened with more technical discipline than either fighter's reputation might suggest. Both men measured distance carefully, looking for entry points rather than committing to early exchanges. Manhoef's striking was immediately recognizable.
If there be a criticism of Cyborg, he came out and got a look.
Structured, economical Dutch Muay Thai, efficiently applied.
Yeah, he needs to be careful there because Melvin will capitalise on that.
That was an inside left low kick from hell by Melvin Manhoef.
Left hook Cyborg blocked the right.
There's that left hook by Manhoef. Manhoef got him up against the fence now.
Cyborg has to watch that right hand. He keeps dropping it. Melvin will catch him with the left.
Cyborg absorbed early strikes and maintained forward pressure throughout, demonstrating the durability he was known for. Manhoef is historically at his most dangerous in opening rounds, when his speed and power are undiminished.
Melvin going to the body again, ducking under.
Combinations of strikes, both guys are not hitting. This is unreal. They're like 2 foot from one another and the shots are just swinging.
Somebody's going down. Somebody's going down. And look like Cyborg landed by Melvin, big right.
This is what the crowd wanted. They're getting it now.
Cyborg
again with combinations.
Cyborg on the ropes a little bit here.
The round remained primarily a striking contest with minimal grappling from either side. In the final seconds, Cyborg managed a takedown, a late move intended to influence the judges.
A heel hook.
He's working for the heel hook.
If time runs out, it's going to be a tragedy. Oh, saved by the... Well, he didn't have it. He didn't have the heel hook down.
Round 2 began with another exchange at range. Cyborg attempted a second takedown early, but Manhoef defended it successfully.
One thing I noticed is that Cyborg's hands are starting to drop down. And Cyborg going for the Muay Thai clinch. Cyborg trying to get the clinch, trying to get him down, because he thought maybe he saw a weakness in Melvin Manhoef in the ground position.
The round followed a structure similar to the first, sustained striking from both fighters, each landing meaningful shots. Cyborg repeatedly attempted to establish a clinch, a calculated risk given Manhoef's power at close range. Each time he reached for the tie-up, Manhoef countered with full-force strikes.
If Cyborg goes for the Muay Thai clinch, he's got a knee immediately. Can't sit there and wait to get punched.
Melvin with some beautiful combinations. They're landing nicely as well, left and right.
Cyborg is actually blocking some of those, though.
By the midpoint of the round, both fighters showed visible fatigue, though neither reduced the pace of their exchanges.
Hands that low.
Melvin got him good with that right hand. Melvin got him again with the right hand. Melvin coming forward. Cyborg blasting away with the jab.
Cyborg looks to be puffed out quite badly at the moment, Stephen. He's taking
I've got to be honest, Rob, I think he's playing the game here. I think Cyborg is trying to outsight Melvin at his own game.
Melvin's going. I think he may be out on his feet, possibly.
He's out on his feet here, Melvin.
Melvin's on the verge of going down here. Cyborg kicks him, but there's not much on it. They're out of gas in the middle of the ring. I can't believe it.
This is unbelievable. Both guys, nothing left. Wow.
Late in the second round, Manhoef landed a combination that sent Cyborg to the canvas.
Left and a right and a left.
The referee intervened immediately. Cyborg rose and indicated he could continue, but the stoppage stood. It was a decisive finish to one of the more competitive and physical bouts of Manhoef's career to that point. Both fighters demonstrated considerable durability and technical quality throughout. Interesting fact, Evangelista Santos Cyborg had logged well over 80 professional fights by the peak of his career, making him one of the most experienced veterans in MMA at the time of this bout. Slavomir Molnar, Manhoef faced an opponent who entered with a specific tactical approach. Molnar was immediately aggressive, showing no interest in technical striking exchanges. His objective was close-range physical combat, and he executed that approach with consistent forward pressure. For a period, the tactic disrupted Manhoef's preferred striking rhythm. Molnar's pressure limited Manhoef's ability to operate at the range and with the precision he favored.
Molnar dopředu, pokusil se o naskočené koleno.
The turning point came when Manhoef established a clinch and delivered a series of knees to Molnar's face. The knees caused visible damage and created the opening for a follow-up punch that ended the contest.
A podívejte, jak tvrdě, explozivně zasahoval Molnára. Znovu tvrdý pravý hák na bradu, potom byl Molnár otřesen, znovu se dokázal ale ještě jednou zepřít Manhoefovi, po tomhle kolenu se pokusil ještě zasadit poslední úder a inkasoval pravý hák, poslední pravý hák, který už definitivně uzavřel Molnárovu cestu v tomto velmi prestižním utkání. Sám Manhoef se po zápase vyjádřil, že to bylo velmi...
The matchup with Mark Hunt brought two fighters with notably different profiles into direct competition. Hunt, a New Zealand-born heavyweight known as the Super Samoan, had built a reputation over many years of high-level competition for exceptional chin durability. He had absorbed significant strikes from some of the most powerful fighters in the sport and continued to compete at a high level. Manhoef represented the opposite end of that equation, a fighter whose primary asset was the ability to end contests with a single clean exchange. Hunt entered the arena with a relaxed demeanor, while Manhoef appeared focused and purposeful. From the opening bell, Hunt moved forward immediately, applying pressure with punches in combination. The strategy carried significant risk against an opponent of Manhoef's finishing ability. A single clean exchange was sufficient. Hunt, a fighter who had previously continued through strikes from Mirko Krokop, Alistair Overeem, and Fedor Emelianenko, was knocked out cleanly. The result carried weight beyond the scorecards. Hunt's reputation as one of the most durable fighters in combat sports made the stoppage significant. Manhoef delivered the finish with one clean exchange, a demonstration of timing, accuracy, and concentrated power. An earlier MMA contest against Mika Ilman was notable not only for the result, but for what occurred before the opening bell. Manhoef arrived with a clear psychological agenda. He performed his pre-fight ritual inside the arena, a practice that appeared to function as territorial positioning as much as personal preparation. When the ritual brought him to Ilman's corner, Ilman reacted with visible confusion. The behavior was unconventional and clearly not anticipated. Manhoef physically moved Ilman aside and continued without acknowledgement or pause. Whether the behavior constituted poor sportsmanship or deliberate pre-fight mental preparation is a matter of interpretation, but the intent appeared purposeful. The face-off reflected the same dynamic. Ilman extended a fist for the customary in an MMA bout against Fabio Silva. The pre-fight dynamic was a notable element of the overall contest. Silva arrived attempting to project aggression during the face-off, a posture clearly intended to apply psychological pressure. The effort appeared visibly strained, and the contrast with Manhoef's composed, settled demeanor was apparent to observers. At one point during the pre-fight interaction, Manhoef extended a fist, and Silva's brief hesitation in response communicated a degree of uncertainty. The exchange was short but illustrative of the psychological positioning both men were engaged in. Once the fight began, Silva moved immediately to takedown attempts, abandoning any striking plan and committing entirely to bringing the fight to the ground. Manhoef defended each attempt with consistent balance and solid positioning. After a brief clinch exchange, Manhoef landed a hook combination that dropped Silva. He followed with ground and pound until the referee intervened.
まず左で相手のこめかみ、そして右で顎を捉える。ガッときました。ここから容赦なく上から鉄槌を振り下ろしていったメルビン・マルコの右のフック、顎を捉えた。崩れ落ちていきました。
In K1 competition, Manhoef entered a contest against Paul Sloinski at a meaningful disadvantage in height and reach. Sloinski opened by using long kicks to control distance, a logical strategy given the physical differential, designed to prevent Manhoef from closing to his preferred range. Manhoef read the timing, caught one of Sloinski's kicks cleanly, and used the moment to reset the range on his own terms. From that point, the competitive dynamic shifted. Both fighters exchanged from distance briefly, kicks and jabs, each measuring the other's timing and movement.
Вот так справа щелк, и Sloinski не понимает, где он.
Manhoef then closed the distance and landed his signature left hook with significant force. Sloinski went to the canvas. Manhoef did not allow recovery time.
Кула слева попадает. По-моему, поплыл, и справа бой будет остановлен, если раньше не упадет Поль. Одиночный удар, и все.
A second left hook landed cleanly following the first knockdown, and the contest was stopped.
Ростом 190 сантиметров уложил. Да причем Sloinski сам нокаутер записной. Рубака еще тот.
Original, approximately 145 words. V2, approximately 152 words. Difference, +7. In K1 competition, Manhoef faced Denez Rotz, a mobile fighter who entered with a clear intention to use footwork and constant movement to avoid sustained exchanges. From the opening seconds, Rotz moved with energy and lateral repositioning, attempting to stay unpredictable and out of range. Manhoef moved forward without hesitation and landed a heavy strike that dropped Rotz early in round 1. The knockdown immediately altered Rotz's approach. Following the knockdown, Rotz shifted entirely to avoidance, declining close-range exchanges on multiple occasions and doing what he could to stay outside Manhoef's effective range. Manhoef tracked him systematically, applying forward pressure and landing strikes whenever proximity allowed. The cumulative effect was visible across the rounds. By the third round, Rotz had been sufficiently broken down that the contest was stopped.
Ik denk dat hij een rib gebroken heeft gefietst, want hij blijft zitten en dan is het voorbij. Hier komt hij. Misschien dat we hier kunnen zien, Edwin, wat er gebeurt.
In Japan, Manhoef faced Yoshiki Takahashi, a domestically recognized fighter who entered the contest with notable confidence, pacing the ring with the composure of someone competing on familiar ground in front of a home crowd. Takahashi was known primarily for his wrestling, a factor that shaped Manhoef's early approach. Manhoef opened cautiously, prioritizing defensive positioning over offensive output, clearly prepared to address takedown attempts before committing to extended striking sequences. Midway through the round, Manhoef landed a body kick. Takahashi read it as an opening and immediately shot for a takedown. Manhoef defended successfully. Takahashi attempted a second takedown, and both fighters ended in a clinch against the ropes. The referee separated them and restarted the contest at center. Immediately following the restart, Manhoef landed a kick-punch combination that dropped Takahashi to the canvas.
さあ後ろからマルフが振りに行くマルフスイッチが入ったマルフが振りに行くさあ高橋
He followed with ground and pound, and the referee stopped the contest.
拳振り下ろしていくマルフの拳マルフの拳ここでレフェリーが止めたというあたりが出たような試合ですこのパンチで高橋が思わず崩れ落ちた
これがね全てだと思いますね
高山さん高橋が2回いいタックルで
Thank you for watching this breakdown of Melvin Manhoef's career. His journey through elite competition remains one of combat sport's most compelling records. Follow the channel for more detailed fighter analyses and historical fight examinations. Subscribe to stay updated on future content.